Hello, world. Your president is here. Uh, like I said, sliding, biting, you got a million and one things that's just not beneficiary to the nigga cracks, man. Now, you got a lot of plans, but like I said, you have to take your time to regain, I guess, power. Because you got reopening process that I really don't think it's just time right now. But you can go ahead and do it. Got this infrastructure bill where you wanna, I guess, whatever. Then you have this reform of justice, which, like I said, in the wrong hands, it can go in a direction that definitely won't be beneficiary to specific races. Why? Because if you're combating justice in a way where it is already where majority of the wins of justice happen to be on your political sides instead of the public. So if you really, really deep down inside wanted to reform that, then equal justice for all, not just rich or poor. Equal justice, meaning you should be able to defend yourself under any circumstances, and it shouldn't be a bar to disclaim a crime. It should be justifiable under, I guess, if you want to reform it, it would have to be 24 jurors instead of 12. Because then you can get an equal base of 2 to whatever vote you plan on voting. That would be, like I said, you have a House of Representatives. How about you have a House for Justice if you want to reform it? San Jose shooting victim may have been a target. Sheriff said. That's it, man. Victims or victimizers. It all has its political play in its balance because of the fact of the matter, which is reparations across the nations. Is that justifiable? Is then we can reform justice. Because what they say, no justice, no peace. No peace, no justice. I gotta ask the world, are you at peace or do you feel justified? It's a good question. What was that? Oh, I can't move this thing. Oh, and that's another thing too. As far as upgrades to applications or whatever Google decides, I don't think that's justifiable either, man. It's just to switch up. It's just upgrade everyone, man. Don't just upgrade the highest cost items, man. Some people like the old stuff. And it should be updated in the software due to the fact that it uses the same software as the new stuff. Don't discriminate software now. It's getting real pettylicious out here. It's getting pettylicious. Facebook accused of showing true and ugly colors with Wuhan lab story banned. Now, like I said, to discriminate on where this thing came from as to one race or one country, knowing that the world is infected and the world is also halfway, I guess, through the vaccination stages. We'll see how this all folds out. I just think that some people are running with the crowd of information that's out there due to the fact that they switched up the CDC. They switched up the CDC, the House of Representative Speakers. They got two now. The list goes on and on, man. You switching up a lot of things. It's hard for people to actually keep up, and I don't think that they actually know what's going on in order to trust. So, try to keep up with Biden just the same way as you kept up with Little Hands, because they're both in the same position of power. Now, sometimes that power can go to your head, and I'm seeing that obviously from slighting Biden, because you got in there and you said that you're not black unless you voted for you. Now, you're in there, so obviously the black people have decided. Now, are you going to supply the black people with what they voted for? I would love to. But, like I said, when it came down to the lines and who had the votes, you got to restructure all of that in order for me to become what I guess what I felt as though I was destined. I can't shout you out, Grammarly. What you call it? Warren de Blasio is deciding that he wants to monitor algorithms and put a clamp down on information tossed across the web, even if it's your truth and not his. That's it, man. Envious. We went through this in our primaries of before 2020, man. There was a lot of candidates up against me, and I like I said, I don't wish them any malice. I just know that at the end it was me, Joe, and Trump. Now, of course, you couldn't pick between, I guess, Trump and I, because we just didn't, or I didn't look like I fit the bill. But my ideas seemingly to fit in, but it's being deteriorated with other ideas that think got better plans, which is, like I said, New York wants to extend an extra tunnel through New Jersey, and I'm just like, nah, man, I'm too busy thinking about the roads. I got a lot of winters ahead, man, and I don't want a lot of discombobulation with the vehicles in the state, because I want the people to get to the commutation as quick as possible and not having to wait and gathering crowds and possibly get sick. I'm trying to avoid the crowds. I'm trying to spatialize the world for the new millennium to come. That's it. You want to upgrade. You want to increase prices. I don't have a problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is fixing the way it looks, as far as distribution to recycling bins, communities of service. There's a whole bunch of things that I would like to apply, but you going into destroying something that's been helpful to you, which I don't mind. It's just more or less I see the subliminal politicals through it all, man. I'm just a nigga crack. And to think that I'm out to take spots and out to delimitize, I'm not doing any of that. But like I said, with the fear that this day was coming, I've enticed the speculators of your own parties to see whether you want to do the right thing or not. And from the looks of things, what you've been doing lately is just not the right thing. It's back to what you used to know. You gotta change, Joe. You have to. It's for the best. But if you don't, it could be for the worst. Either or. You had 40 years of politics to the side. I'm only in this, I guess, a few years, and then I said today, I really didn't feel like appropriating my what you call it, political stage, man, because I've seen what you're doing, and it's just messy, man, and all of this mayors and all of this, we have to get to the surrounding areas to make this world a better place than the previous generations. Or we can go down in history as some of the biggest, I guess, winners and losers. It doesn't really matter to me. Biden's budget sees low inflation, rising debt, and slow economy growth. Like I said, people are holding out because you don't want to cut those stimuluses. You cut the stimuluses, you will see your revenue. But if you don't, people be, like I said, man, they holding out. And you can't blame them because you done told them to take their mask off. I don't know why you do that. Oh yeah, ain't any political for you to go after the nigga craze. It's no longer political anymore. It's worldly now. Trying to get Israel and Gaza Strip to come together to rebuild one nation, man. But see, with you know, mixing up the ties and you throwing all of this other stuff, everyone can be involved in this economical growth if everyone is willing to share for the, I guess, next couple of years. But if not, you can separate, divide, say one is better than the other, and then it'll all crumble. So miss me with the fake numbers, miss me with the fake advertisements, and get to the business, man, and do something holy as one. They say it's one nation under God. So I like to see it done. It's been done in, I guess, ancient times to build, but it takes time. Maybe 100 years, maybe 1,000. Who knows? It could happen tomorrow if we all come together as one. But you have to come up with an implemented plan for that. And from the looks of things, you're not doing enough for the Republicans, and the Republicans is not doing enough for the Democrats. So they leave the Democrats and other nations in limbo. Let's get out of the limbo before we start making hasty decisions. Or you can not take my advice. But like I said, it's probably expected that you probably don't want to take my advice at this point because the advice that I gave you, you thought it was a political for you. It wasn't. It was great advice. It's just what it went to at the time. I had to do what I had to do. Cult mom Lori Vola, unfit to stand trial, Idaho court rules. Like I said, if you want to reframe the system, then people should be able to justifiably defend themselves because that's how justice is. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. 3 officers charged in death of a black man who said, "I can't breathe." Is this a repeat? This was an hour ago. Like I said, man, I'm not interested in all of these things because there is no justice to combat those that you employ. They're doing their job, which is you told them to keep an eye on those with previous convictions. You told them they can't hire individuals with previous convictions. You told them that it's not justifiable for a criminal to change. Are we going backwards or forwards? Because I'm looking at it, slavery was the most criminalist, heinous act in the world's history, other than dinosaurs killing each other. Those was animals. Amy Cooper sues former employee for race, gender discrimination. No, not steps backwards when we should be taking steps forward. I don't have no discrimination against anything creative. You're human. You're supposed to create, innovate, even motivate. But totally, the choice is yours. Now, shall you let previous, leaders and world powers determine your future? Or will you grab a hold of what's yours? And with that being said, I look forward to more podium appearances for a nation under one. And with that being said, peace. I gotta go.